Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. By now, the vast majority of you listening have heard the news that broke probably several days or so ago at this point, that Consensus, which, by the way, received a Wells notice from the SEC, which means that, in all likelihood, a lawsuit from the SEC against Consensus, which is pushing all things Ethereum, they about to get sued. And there's now word that the SEC indeed does believe that ETH itself is a security, kind of like the asset itself, XRP, in the SEC v. Ripple case. They claimed XRP. It embodies everything, so XRP is the security, right? Well, now Ethereum's getting theirs as we're going into this bull market here. So that news broke, and I'm just assuming that the vast majority of you have already heard. Well, there is an update on that, and it's quite the see I told you so moment. But I've got something that is so rich and so delicious, I couldn't leave it for myself. And so I actually, for those of you on social media platform X, you may have saw what I'm about to seen what I'm about to share with you, because I posted it a couple days ago. I have to share it on YouTube too, though, because there's this. I'll just tell you here at the outset of the video. There's an attorney who works for Consensus, which again is they're just pushing all things Ethereum. You know, so Joe Lubin, who is a co-founder of Ethereum, he's also the founder of Consensus. And so there's an attorney who, on the day that Ripple got sued, made a rather smarmy comment and was ripping on XRP as XRP holders are having their financial well-being destroyed. This guy's just crapping all over XRP. He doesn't care. And he indicated that he didn't think there was some sort of attack against crypto. It's just because it's Ripple, it's XRP. And here we are, little over 3 years later, and the attorney at Consensus is having to deal with reality, which has just bitch smacked him in the face. In fact, it's gotten so bad after this Wells notice that Consensus is getting a little feisty, and I'm actually for this. They actually sued the SEC. I made a whole video covering that. And so I'm not going to go into great detail on that, other than how it would pertain specifically to the latest news. And this, I'm going to cover this. There's a Cointelegraph article about it. So just sit back, because this is an absolutely lovely see I told you so moment. You're really going to enjoy this one. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so I will get to the latest news, which is on your screen, which is on this exact topic in just a moment. It's very interesting for all of us in the XRP community who have literally been warning for years. This isn't just about Ripple. This isn't just about XRP. It's an attack on all of crypto. We know it. We were sounding the alarms. So before the latest on that, let's have a little bit of fun here. Let's go to this post. This is what I was talking about at the outset of the video. I shared this 2 days ago. The guy on your screen is named Matt Korva. He's a lawyer at Consensus. Now, he shared a post on December 22nd, 2020. It's on your screen right now. And I took a screen grab and shared this in my post rather than actually reposting it on Twitter. Or, well, now known, it's not known as X, of course. Because if he ever deletes it, then it would be gone. And we couldn't have that. We need this cemented in history. And so I took a screen grab and shared the actual screen grab rather than the post itself. But here's what this smarmy lawyer had to say. On December 22nd, 2020, the day the lawsuit dropped, as people are panicking, understandably so, because their financial well-being destroyed by a government agency, the world over, people just have led up to a bad Christmas, let's say. Here's what Matt Korva had to say. I won't comment on the merits, but this attempted play at attack on crypto is pretty laughable. In 5 years of doing this, I haven't heard anyone interested in or working on decentralized tech or crypto say anything positive about XRP. Crypto will be just fine. And so there you go. Nobody cares about XRP. Nobody even wants to work on it. We want to work on the decentralized tech. XRP's obviously centralized. Crypto will be fine though, man. Oh my God. Isn't it just funny how when you take a position like this, which to anybody who's not being like a pompous douche can just see that, like, the tribalism, the bias, the disdain towards XRP irrational. Isn't it just funny that if you're not one of those people, you're fine. But for the people that are like that, reality really does eventually just catch up to you and then just bitch smack you in the face. That is exactly what the hell happened here. And so I shared this and I wrote the following. This has, quite hilariously, aged like a fine milk. Below is a post from a lawyer who works for Consensus on December 22nd, 2020, the day Ripple was sued by the SEC, saying the idea of the lawsuit against Ripple being an attack on crypto is laughable. Also rips on XRP because, of course, he does. Fast forward little more than 3 years, and Consensus is under attack by the SEC, Wells notice received, lawsuit imminent, and proactively sues the SEC and all 5 commissioners, including Kim Jong-Gensler. How naive this poor man was. Good luck, little fella. And then I give credit to attorney Bill Morgan for pointing this out, because I saw it right before I shared that. I was just laughing so hard. He shared that, and I was just like, oh my God. Oh, you naive little Consensus lawyer. You poor little fella. You poor little guy. You have no idea what's coming. And so to crypto in general. And so I didn't know for sure that ETH would get attacked, but I was saying it back in the earliest of days. I don't know if I said it for sure at the tail end of 2020, but certainly by early 2021, it was very clear. And I said specifically, although I wasn't convinced that all the Ethereum people would be getting attacked, I said, don't think that it won't happen. And I even cited at the time, there are different people in charge now. I warned, I was like, you shouldn't make that assumption. And here we are. You have different people in charge with different motivating factors, and they're coming for him. Of course. And, it shouldn't be that surprising. So yeah, ETH, it was very unfair, obviously. Like, ETHgate's a real thing. ETH clearly got a free pass under the previous rulers of the SEC. But it's not surprising now that you have these people in charge. Again, I wasn't convinced it was going to happen years ago, but if you look at it, it shouldn't be that surprising that with new people in charge, they go for the biggest altcoin that hasn't been attacked yet, which is ETH. Duh! Like, it's not crazy to think that might have happened. But no, crypto is just fine because it's about if it's decentralized. And the XRP's very decentralized, the idiot stick. It's one of my favorite things when people say crap like this is to just show them the map of all the validators. Just show them a global map, plop it down, be like, where's the central point of failure? Could you just point on the map, please? Could you please point on the map? And of course they can't because they're saying dumbass stuff. There is no central point of failure for the XRP ledger. You freaking idiot sticks. But crypto's just fine. No, crypto has been under assault for years after, like, my God. This is the opposite of wisdom. This is the exact, and then you had attorney John Deaton in the earliest of days. He may have said it in December, but certainly by early January, he was warning that this is an attack on all of crypto. And Brad Garlinghouse said it from the beginning too. Like, he literally said it that day, in fact. Brad Garlinghouse did. He actually, maybe it was the day before because the news technically broke the day before the lawsuit dropped. But either way, my God. And so now, they're potentially in serious trouble depending on how the lawsuit goes. So they've got that to look forward to. And, I don't like seeing any of this attack. To be clear, I don't want bad things to happen to anybody building on top of ETH. It's just some of these pretentious D-bags, I just have no sympathy. And so here's what I added after sharing. So that I just read through the initial post and then I added to it just a few minutes afterwards. And I wrote, the entire XRP community warned them and they laughed at us. More than that, they were happy and gleeful. They cheered as people's lives were financially ruined. I have no sympathy for the individuals who behave like that on a personal level. I do, however, acknowledge that it's unfair Consensus is being targeted by the SEC, even though they never extended any support to us when we needed it most. As such, I hope the SEC loses any attack on Consensus. And so to be crystal clear here, I am not for this. I do not want them to lose. I think that we should rally around the effort as a whole to push back against the SEC, including this. But these individuals here, on the individual level, this stuff, no, you don't get free passes. No, you don't. No. Choosing to not support the crypto asset class, which, I mean, when we were under attack years ago, when it started, and it started with XRP, no. We're not just going to gloss over that. No, we're going to acknowledge it. And it's just so rich because he's saying, no, it's not an attack on crypto. And then his very organization's under attack. That is rich. That is just, wow. I don't believe in karma because there's no scientific basis to it, but I'm telling you, if I did, I would point to this and say karma. And here's the latest on this. So SEC and Gensler believed Ether was security for at least a year. Headline from Cointelegraph. Consensus's lawsuit against the United States Securities and Exchange Commission has uncovered more information about the SEC's stance on Ether. The SEC and its chair, Gary Gensler, believed Ether was a security for at least some time, according to a report by Fox Business producer Eleanor Terrett. Citing court documents filed by the Ethereum software firm Consensus on April 29th, Terrett wrote that the SEC and Gensler, quote, appear to have believed for at least a year, end quote, that Ethereum was an unregistered security, this is a quote also, unregistered security trading out of compliance with current federal regulations, end quote. Again, think about the arguments being made here, because the SEC likes to talk about out of both sides of their mouth. They told the judge in the SEC v. Ripple case, no, we're not saying that XRP itself is a security. And then they go into, but if you look at the legal arguments, they are. It embodies all of the, well, if it embodies it, that's the same damn thing as XRP itself being a security. They're just so two-faced. And then once the lawsuit ended and they lost the most key piece, XRP not being a security, it was declared to not be a security, then they're like, oh yeah, of course, well, it's just computer code. Yeah, we're not going to appeal it. They literally wrote to the judge and said, we're not going to appeal that part of the decision, which, by the way, they can't anyway because it's dicta. It's not something that was actually had to be ruled. And since it's dicta rather than something that had to be ruled on, it's literally impossible for them to appeal it. But they told Judge Torres, yeah, we're not going to be appealing that. Okay, well, thanks. We know you can't. It's delightful to see that. But again, that just illustrates the degree to which they're speaking out of both sides of their mouth. They're doing it again right here. ETH itself is a security. Wait till this lawsuit drops, because I know it hasn't happened and technically it's not a guarantee, but it's a guarantee. Like, the odds of these commissioners not voting to move this forward, come on. It's going to be 3-5 vote again. That's my guess here. Anyway, piece continues. The new information comes a few days after Consensus filed an unredacted complaint against the SEC in a Texas federal court on April 25th. The filing came in response to a Wells notice from the securities regulator detailing its plans to sue the firm for failing to comply with federal securities laws. According to the new filing on March 28th, 2023, the head of the SEC's Division of Enforcement, Gerber Gruhl, approved a formal order of investigation into Ether's status as a security. There you go. The asset itself is the security, even though that makes literally no sense. And so again, gonna call out the smarmy bitches. There's some smarmy bitches out there. But in the end, I support the smarmy bitches. I don't want even the punks over at Consensus. I don't want them to be defeated by the SEC. I really don't. And I know that they don't like us XRP holders. I get that. And I'm not saying that's literally true of everybody that works there. That's a big-ass organization. But there's a lot of people over there in power that chose, they had power, they chose not to do anything. Those are the people I'm still not happy with. So it is what it is. Anyway, piece continues. The investigation known as the Ethereum 2.0 investigation reportedly authorized enforcement staff to investigate and subpoena individuals and entities involved in the buying and selling of the cryptocurrency. Citing anonymous sources with direct knowledge of the matter, Terrett noted that subpoena recipients were instructed by the SEC to keep the investigation strictly under wraps if they wanted further details regarding the investigation. The Ethereum 2.0 investigation was reportedly based on the SEC's belief that the potential unregistered offerings and sales of Ether occurred since at least 2018. Now, folks, think about that. Now, we need to see that come from the SEC technically to verify, fine, but it would be weird if Consensus is lying about this, because that's the reason we know about this. It's because of Consensus. But that means that this narrative of they were going after ETH because they switched from proof of work to proof of stake, maybe they're going to argue. I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I'll predict right now that's going to be a reason that they're saying, hey, security status. But this, if accurate, and I bet it is, this indicates that they were coming for him anyway. Because back in 2018, that was ETH proof of work, obviously. So they were coming for him regardless. Probably. That's my guess. That's something. Piece continues. If the Gensler SEC finds Ether to be a security, it will contradict prior SEC guidance under former chair Jay Clayton. In June 2018, then Director of Corporation Finance Bill Hinman stated in a speech the SEC's position that Ether, alongside Bitcoin, was not a security. Now, folks, that's accurately worded. I know technically he had the disclaimer. Now, these are just my personal opinions. No, shut up. Like, the people at the SEC, including Jay Clayton, they saw the drafts. They helped you write this damn thing. I understand that that's the protective statement that you were using here, but if we're going to speak in terms of what actually happened, that was the SEC's position. It just was. And then they write, the new filings disclose that the 5-member commission approved the Division of Enforcement's Ethereum 2.0 investigation on April 13th, 2023, just 5 days before Gensler appeared before the House Financial Services Committee, where he refused to answer repeated questions on whether the SEC believed Ether to be a security. The news comes a few days after applicants and firms involved in a potential spot Ether exchange-traded fund in the U.S. claimed that the SEC will likely delay its decision on whether to approve such a product in May. Yeah, you think? Pretty safe bet that they're not going to be approving that. Now, I didn't. Even without this, though, I still don't think Kim Jong Gensler is going to approve another crypto-related ETF. It's not in the cards. I've talked about that before. It'll happen in the future, just not under his rule, as a dictator. Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balkunas believes that Gensler's stance on Ether could impact the decision process, as Gensler refused to clarify whether Ether was a security last year. And so there you go. That's the latest. I'm just glad that we're out on the other side. I know that the Ripple lawsuit's still going on. I don't think it matters. XRP is legal clarity. We're fine. If it mattered, do you think Coinbase and every other exchange under the sun would have relisted XRP if it weren't sewn up for us? Like, no, we're good to go. We are good to go here. And now they're just Now, I'm not happy about this, because I've been holding ETH since 2017. I am not happy about this. The SEC, like, so they're supposed to help investors like myself and like you listening. They are not. That's their mission. That they're not. Their behaviors, their actions, not in line with their actual mission. So they're not. They're reducing my opportunity for life-changing wealth. That is what they're doing. And so, again, I don't want this attack to be successful, which is why we need to rally. But I say we're well within our rights to laugh and just call out the terrible nature of these humans. And I hope that they learn and grow from this stuff here. But they deserve to be mocked for this stuff, because they were despicable in a time where they shouldn't have been despicable. And I know that he could have said worse stuff here. So, like, I don't be overly cruel towards this consensus lawyer here. I'm more so just laughing because he was just disastrously wrong in what he thought was the actual crypto landscape as it pertains to regulatory, goings on in the United States. He was just disastrously wrong about that. He wasn't saying, he wasn't saying like outright cruel and vicious stuff, but still, knowing that's the sentiment from people, higher up in consensus, and the fact that we didn't get any help from this organization for those years. I don't have sympathy for the people on an individual level, like I wrote on X. I just don't. I really don't. But there are people that have said worse stuff. People saying that the XRP holders who have been financially ruined deserved it. It's just some gross, like really gross stuff, and I talked about it at the time years ago. So there's far worse stuff, but this one's just funny. This one's just straight up funny because the analysis was so bad. They thought that they just were just impervious. Because they paid off the SEC, right? Effectively, whatever happened behind the scenes, they thought they were good. ETHgate, they thought they were they were the golden child, but they weren't. Bad calculation there. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say. All right, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.